The sun had barely begun its slow crawl over the horizon, casting a golden glow that danced across the vast expanse of Teotihuacan. From above, the city's ancient layout, its imposing pyramids of the sun and moon, the avenue of the dead stretching like a spine through the city, seemed almost frozen in time. But beneath this serene surface, a secret long buried awaited discovery. For centuries, explorers, archaeologists, and historians had gazed upon these monumental structures, marveling at their precision, yet sensing that the city had stories it refused to tell. Stories that could rewrite our understanding of Mesoamerican history. Whispers of hidden chambers and subterranean tunnels circulated among locals and scholars alike. Some spoke of sacred spaces designed for the city's elite, others imagined ritualistic labyrinths meant to protect treasures or forbidden knowledge. Modern science has tried to probe these depths, using ground-penetrating radar and other advanced techniques, yet every revelation only deepens the mystery. At times, the data hints at vast voids below the Pyramid of the Sun, vast spaces untouched for over 1,000 years. And yet, no one has fully ventured into these hidden realms. The city, it seems, guards its secrets jealously. Myth and legend, however, fill in the gaps where science cannot. Some claim the tunnels are pathways to the underworld, corridors where priests communed with gods and spirits, performing rituals that connected the living with the dead. Others tell tales of advanced technologies lost to time, artifacts that could challenge our understanding of pre-Columbian civilizations. The contrast is stark. On one side, the rigorous lens of archaeology, careful, methodical, demanding evidence; on the other, the shadowy world of myth, where imagination and fear intertwine. Both perspectives collide beneath the city, creating an irresistible tension. As the wind rustles through the deserted plazas, one cannot help but feel the weight of history pressing down, pressing into the earth itself. What compelled the builders to construct these monuments with such precision, aligning them with celestial bodies, embedding them with hidden symbolism? And why, after centuries, does a portion of this city remain an enigma, untouched by both looters and modern science? Tonight, as we venture into Teotihuacan's mysteries, we are not just observers. We are participants in a journey that straddles fact and legend, archaeology and myth, the known and the unknowable. With each step closer to the underground, the air thickens with anticipation, and the line between history and the forbidden begins to blur. What lies beneath could challenge everything we think we know about this ancient city, and perhaps, about civilization itself. Prepare yourself, for in the next chapters, we will descend into the darkness below the Pyramid of the Sun, where secrets have slumbered for centuries, waiting for someone bold enough, or perhaps foolish enough, to uncover them. Teotihuacan, often called the City of the Gods, rises from the Valley of Mexico like a ghost from an ancient dream. Archaeologists date its origin to around 100 BCE, yet its creators remain one of history's most enduring mysteries. This section delves into the rise of this sprawling metropolis, home to perhaps 125,000 people at its peak, and examines its intricate urban planning, monumental pyramids, and complex residential compounds. Despite centuries of excavation, the identity of Teotihuacan's architects is unclear. Were they the Toltecs, an early branch of the Aztecs, or a lost civilization entirely unknown to history? Scholars have debated this for decades, yet no definitive answer emerges. Here, we contrast the cold, factual evidence of archaeology, stone tools, pottery, and murals, with legends passed down through generations that suggest the city was divinely inspired, a place where gods walked among mortals. The Pyramid of the Sun, the city's largest structure, is more than a monumental feat of engineering. Its alignment with astronomical events hints at a sophisticated understanding of the cosmos. How could a society with no written records achieve such precision? In this section, we explore the theories. Was it a calendar, a religious tool, or something even more mysterious, like an energy conduit? We also examine the hidden chambers beneath the pyramids. Archaeologists recently discovered tunnels that appear deliberately sealed, containing artifacts and murals that seem symbolic rather than utilitarian. Could these hidden passageways represent secret knowledge, ceremonial spaces, or even a lost library of pre-Columbian wisdom? The contrast between what we see on the surface, a bustling, organized metropolis, and what lies hidden beneath intensifies the mystery. Finally, we touch on Teotihuacan's sudden decline around 550 CE. Fires, abandoned buildings, and evidence of social upheaval suggest a catastrophic collapse, yet the reasons remain unknown. Was it internal conflict, environmental disaster, or something more enigmatic that drove the city's inhabitants to abandon their magnificent creations? By juxtaposing scientific hypotheses with lingering myths, this section sets the stage for deeper explorations into the secrets buried in Teotihuacan's stones. Cinematic transitions fade from aerial shots of the sun rising over the pyramids to shadowy tunnels below, emphasizing both the grandeur and the hidden enigma of the city. Use suspenseful narration to pull viewers into the duality of fact versus legend. The story of Teotihuacan's underground world begins with the careful work of modern archaeologists, armed with ground-penetrating radar and satellite imaging, tools that allow us to see beneath the surface without disturbing the earth. These technologies revealed a complex network of tunnels, some stretching hundreds of meters, connecting major ceremonial sites like the Pyramid of the Sun and the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. Initially, experts believed these tunnels were simply structural, intended to relieve pressure on the massive pyramids. But as excavation progressed, it became clear that there was far more to these subterranean passages than practical engineering. Local legends spoke of hidden chambers filled with unimaginable treasures and sacred relics, stories passed down for generations. Villagers described eerie sounds and lights beneath the ground, claiming that the tunnels were once sacred pathways, accessible only to priests and high-ranking rulers. Such accounts were often dismissed by scientists as folklore, until evidence began to emerge that some of these tunnels contained artifacts and murals untouched for centuries, preserving rituals and knowledge lost to the surface world. One of the most tantalizing discoveries was the presence of tunnels that seemed deliberately hidden, blocked by carefully placed stones, as if someone wanted to seal secrets from prying eyes. Archaeologists found chambers with altars, offerings, and symbols that have no clear modern interpretation. Were these spaces purely ceremonial, or were they repositories of forbidden knowledge? The ambiguity fuels a sense of mystery that has captivated historians and conspiracy theorists alike. Adding to the intrigue, carbon dating and chemical analysis of residues in the tunnels suggested that some areas had not been entered for over 1,000 years. These untouched spaces create a dramatic tension between science and myth. On one hand, the archaeologists meticulously catalogued their findings, presenting a rational narrative of Teotihuacan's underground design. On the other, the eeriness of sealed tunnels, strange iconography, and unidentifiable artifacts pushes the imagination into the realm of the supernatural. Eyewitness accounts of early explorers and looters add yet another layer to the story. Some reported strange visions, sudden chills, and inexplicable noises deep underground, fueling speculation that these tunnels were more than tombs, they were thresholds to another dimension of power and knowledge. Documenting these stories alongside empirical data allows viewers to feel as if they are stepping into the darkness themselves, uncertain of what they might encounter. This section closes by setting up the next revelation, the discovery of the most secret chamber beneath Teotihuacan, whose existence challenges everything we thought we knew about the civilization. By weaving together the hard facts of archaeology with haunting legends, this part of the script creates a cinematic tension, inviting viewers to question whether the underground world was a practical architectural marvel or a hidden gateway to forbidden mysteries. As we step deeper into the labyrinthine corridors of this ancient site, the first thing that strikes any visitor is the precision. The walls, carved from solid stone, fit together so seamlessly that even the sharpest modern chisel would struggle to find a gap. Scientists and engineers marvel at the skill. How could a civilization without advanced machinery achieve such uniformity? The cuts are not only straight but angled in ways that seem to defy conventional logic. For centuries, theories have circulated, attempting to explain the engineering feats. Some suggest the use of simple tools with immense labor and patience, while others propose the involvement of lost techniques now forgotten to history. It is not just the walls that baffle the mind. The passageways themselves seem to follow a pattern, a hidden geometry that aligns with celestial bodies. Astronomers studying the site have noticed correlations between certain chambers and the positions of the sun and stars during solstices and equinoxes. Could these alignments have served purely practical purposes, like guiding agricultural or ceremonial events? Or were they intended to channel some kind of esoteric energy, a kind of cosmic resonance that modern science cannot yet measure? Engineers who study these structures often point to the logistical mastery required. Moving massive stone blocks, sometimes weighing several tons, through narrow tunnels without modern cranes would be a monumental task. The precision of the stonework suggests not just skill, but a deep understanding of materials, how to cut, polish, and join them to endure centuries of wear. But here is where the mystery deepens. In certain chambers, the walls contain intricate carvings and symbols, arranged with mathematical ratios that some theorists insist encode hidden knowledge. Could these marks represent ancient blueprints or secret messages meant only for the initiated? As we follow the twisting corridors, the air seems to thicken with tension, almost as if the builders themselves had imbued the space with an intentional atmosphere. Some chambers are eerily silent, with acoustics that amplify even the faintest whisper, while others reverberate like natural amphitheaters. The patterns suggest deliberate design choices, rather than random construction. Could the builders have intended to influence the emotions of those who entered, guiding them toward awe, reverence, or even fear? Then there is the question of purpose. Scholars argue endlessly, were these tunnels primarily functional, ceremonial, or both? Every new discovery only deepens the debate. For some, the chambers are tombs, sacred spaces meant to honor gods or ancestors. For others, the alignment, acoustics, and symbolic carving suggest a more mystical function, an advanced understanding of the cosmos, of energy, or of knowledge deliberately hidden from outsiders. Here, science and myth collide. Modern archaeology can document, measure, and simulate, but it cannot fully capture the human intent, or the possible esoteric wisdom, that shaped every stone, every angle, every corridor. By the time one reaches the heart of the network, the sense of wonder becomes almost palpable. The juxtaposition of technical mastery and mysterious purpose forces a reconsideration of history itself. Did these ancient engineers possess knowledge we have yet to rediscover, or were they guided by a worldview so different from our own that even our most sophisticated analyses cannot comprehend it? Whatever the answer, the tunnels stand as a testament to a civilization capable of crafting marvels that continue to captivate, puzzle, and haunt the modern imagination. As we descend deeper into the labyrinthine structures of ancient civilizations, one of the most haunting mysteries emerges: why were certain chambers deliberately sealed? Scholars and archaeologists have long puzzled over the locked doors and blocked corridors found in ruins from Teotihuacan to the pyramids of Egypt. Were these barriers simple measures of protection, safeguarding treasures and valuable artifacts from looters, or did they hold far more sinister purposes? Some historians suggest practical motivations, preventing accidents in structurally unstable sections or preserving the sanctity of burial sites. Yet, the psychological weight of these sealed spaces tells another story, one that whispers of ritualistic secrecy and forbidden knowledge. The act of sealing a chamber implies a deliberate decision to hide something, something that was perhaps considered too powerful, dangerous, or sacred to be seen by ordinary eyes. In Teotihuacan, for example, tunnels discovered beneath the Pyramid of the Sun reveal evidence of ritual offerings, obsidian knives, and strange mineral deposits, suggesting that the spaces were more than mere storage rooms. The very placement of these tunnels and the intricate engineering used to block them hint at a society that understood the value of secrecy, both spiritually and politically. Could these sealed chambers have been meant to contain knowledge of the cosmos, records of lost civilizations, or even the remains of beings not entirely human? Ancient texts, fragmented inscriptions, and later myths often point toward hidden knowledge, preserved through generations and intentionally obscured by rulers or priestly elites. Modern explorers and archaeologists face a dual challenge: uncover the chambers without destroying them and interpret what lies within without projecting contemporary fears onto ancient intentions. Scientific analysis, like carbon dating, ground-penetrating radar, and chemical residue testing, has unveiled tantalizing clues, but often deepens the mystery. Some sealed rooms contain anomalies in air composition, unexplained alignments with celestial bodies, or remnants of materials that defy conventional understanding. Every discovery seems to raise more questions than answers, blurring the line between history and legend. Yet, the allure of these hidden spaces is undeniable. They spark our imagination because they challenge our perception of what is permissible and what must remain hidden. Perhaps these chambers were sealed not just to protect objects or secrets, but to safeguard the very balance of power, or to prevent knowledge that could disrupt societies. Ancient civilizations, it seems, understood a truth modern society is only beginning to grasp: some knowledge, once unleashed, can change everything. This tension between protection and prohibition, between curiosity and fear, is what makes sealed chambers a perennial fascination. They are reminders of a world where mystery was an integral part of existence, where the unknown was revered, feared, and carefully contained. The question remains: what truths lie behind these barriers? Are they merely relics of superstition and human caution, or do they guard answers to questions we are only now learning to ask? As we peer into these hidden depths, we confront a chilling yet captivating possibility, that some knowledge was never meant to be found, and that the very act of sealing a chamber was an acknowledgement of forces beyond comprehension. As explorers descended deeper into the shadowed passageways, they stumbled upon a gallery of artifacts that seemed almost otherworldly in nature. Shards of pottery, engraved with intricate geometric patterns, lined the walls. Some bore symbols that appeared almost alien: spirals within spirals, concentric circles, and angular markings that defied immediate interpretation. Archaeologists would later identify some of these as simple decorative motifs common to ancient societies, yet others resisted conventional classification. The repeated patterns hinted at a symbolic language lost to time, a cipher that perhaps carried messages only known to the original architects of these subterranean halls. Among the finds were small, metallic objects, corroded but undeniably deliberate in design. Some resembled miniature tools, yet their form suggested uses that modern science struggles to explain. Could these have been instruments for measuring astronomical alignments, as some researchers proposed? Or were they ceremonial objects, carried during secretive rituals conducted in the flickering light of underground torches? The duality of interpretation, the rational versus the mystical, lingered over each discovery, a tension that captivated both scientists and thrill-seekers alike. Even more haunting were the symbols etched into the walls, not just painted or carved, but deeply incised into stone, as if meant to last through millennia. Certain markings corresponded to constellations visible only at specific times of the year, suggesting that these tunnels might have served as a celestial observatory. Others, however, seemed purely enigmatic, abstract figures that resembled no known language, spiraling motifs that appeared to shift subtly when viewed from different angles, and pictograms depicting humanoid forms in what some theorists controversially argued could be extraterrestrial encounters. Here, the line between archaeological fact and mythic speculation blurred, creating a psychological tension that made the site simultaneously fascinating and unsettling. Artifacts recovered from these sites also included small figurines, some humanoid, some animalistic, carved with an uncanny level of precision. One figure, a tiny statue of a crouching humanoid with exaggerated eyes and elongated limbs, sparked heated debate among scholars. Was it a representation of a deity, a symbolic guardian, or evidence of a forgotten knowledge of human evolution? Paranormal enthusiasts, meanwhile, suggested that such figures were talismans meant to protect against unseen forces lurking within the tunnels, a narrative that, though speculative, amplified the sense of mystery for visitors and viewers alike. Finally, the placement of these objects within the tunnels seemed intentional, almost ritualistic. Some artifacts were arranged in circular patterns on the floor, others were positioned at points where natural light briefly penetrated the darkness, creating momentary illuminations of hidden markings. The meticulous care in their positioning suggested that these were more than mere remnants, they were messages, encoded in stone, metal, and shadow, waiting for discovery. In this section, the audience is drawn into a world where every object has a story, yet the meaning remains elusive. By juxtaposing scientific explanation with supernatural speculation, the narrative keeps viewers suspended in a space of awe and uncertainty, compelling them to question, what secrets lie buried in the depths, and who, if anyone, crafted them for a purpose that modern minds can scarcely comprehend. Beneath the sprawling expanse of the ancient pyramids, hidden from the gaze of ordinary visitors, lie passages that few have ever traversed. These are not merely tunnels carved for convenience or storage, they are labyrinthine corridors, twisting and turning with an almost deliberate sense of secrecy. Archaeologists have uncovered fragments of these hidden chambers, yet much remains unexplored, leaving space for speculation, fear, and wonder. Imagine walking through a narrow, dimly lit corridor, your footsteps echoing against stone walls that have stood untouched for thousands of years. The air is cool, heavy with the weight of history, yet tinged with an almost tangible energy, as though the stones themselves remember the footsteps of long-gone priests, rulers, or perhaps something even older. Scientific studies confirm these chambers were structurally reinforced, hinting that the builders intended them to last forever, but the purpose behind their construction remains a puzzle. Some researchers argue these secret passages serve practical purposes: storage rooms for treasures, grain, or sacred relics, escape routes in times of danger, or hidden sanctuaries for high-ranking officials. Yet, as we move deeper into the network, the more mystical explanations begin to emerge. The unusual alignment of certain corridors with celestial bodies, the resonance of specific chambers with harmonic frequencies, and the sudden drops into voids that lead nowhere, these anomalies suggest that the ancients may have imbued these spaces with ceremonial or even otherworldly significance. Legends speak of chambers that appear and disappear, of pathways that seem to twist in ways that defy logic, and of rooms that resonate with whispers of the past. Explorers who dared enter these hidden spaces often report strange sensations, feelings of vertigo, disorientation, or an uncanny sense that they are being watched. Some speculate that these chambers were not only sacred but also designed to test the courage, faith, or intelligence of those who sought the knowledge contained within. Contrast this with the modern, scientific perspective. Using ground-penetrating radar and 3D mapping, archaeologists have discovered previously unknown voids and tunnels, confirming that the ancient builders were far more advanced than previously imagined. Yet even with technology, there is a limit. Many corridors remain inaccessible, too narrow, too fragile, or too dangerous to explore fully. Here lies the tension that drives our fascination: what is fact, what is theory, and what is the product of centuries of legend? By the end of this exploration, viewers are left with both awe and unease. The hidden chambers are more than just architectural marvels, they are portals into the mind of a civilization that mastered stone, space, and secrecy. As we prepare to move to the next section, the mysteries of these secret pathways linger, compelling us to question how much of the past remains buried, waiting for those brave enough to uncover it. Explore local legends and esoteric beliefs surrounding Teotihuacan's underground world. Include stories of spirits, lost technologies, and hidden libraries. Contrast historical records with myths that suggest the city's secrets were intentionally buried to protect humanity from forbidden knowledge. Maintain cinematic suspense to deepen the sense of danger and mystery. Beneath the immense pyramids of Teotihuacan, where sunlight dares not reach, legends whisper of a world that ordinary eyes cannot perceive. Locals have long spoken of the Tlalocan, a mystical underworld governed by the rain god Tlaloc, a place where the boundaries between the living and the dead dissolve. Archaeologists have discovered tunnels and chambers that hint at complex ritualistic practices, yet their exact purpose remains elusive, leaving ample room for stories that blend history with myth. Some claim these subterranean corridors were not just ceremonial but repositories of knowledge far beyond what any civilization should possess. Ancient texts, fragmented and enigmatic, suggest that priests and rulers intentionally concealed technologies and wisdom that, if misused, could alter the balance of human power. The tales tell of hidden libraries, vast collections of codices and carvings, buried beneath layers of stone and earth, deliberately kept secret. According to legend, the scribes of Teotihuacan knew that their discoveries, about the cosmos, medicine, and the forces of nature, were too potent for the outside world. They designed labyrinthine tunnels to confuse intruders, and it is said that the corridors themselves were cursed, so that anyone who dared to disturb the sacred knowledge would vanish without a trace. Modern explorers occasionally report inexplicable phenomena, sudden drops in temperature, the faint echo of footsteps in empty tunnels, and glimpses of shadowy figures that seem aware of every intrusion. These experiences feed the narrative that the city's underground is a threshold between human curiosity and something far older, almost predatory. Contrasting these myths, scientific studies have unearthed artifacts that hint at advanced engineering, astronomical alignments, and ritual precision that even today puzzles experts. Yet while historians focus on physical evidence, the allure of forbidden knowledge persists because the human imagination fills in what science cannot yet explain. Was Teotihuacan merely a metropolis of trade and worship, or did it guard secrets that civilizations after it were never meant to uncover? Every story of lost kings, invisible guardians, and hidden chambers amplifies the sense that Teotihuacan's underground was intentionally designed as both a sanctuary and a prison. It is a place where myth intersects with reality, where the echoes of the past challenge our understanding of human potential. The tension between what we can verify and what remains in shadow keeps explorers, historians, and dreamers alike peering into the darkness, half in awe, half in fear. The legend persists that one day, perhaps, a tunnel will be unlocked, revealing knowledge that was never meant to resurface, a secret that could illuminate, or imperil, the world. The world of archaeology has entered a new era, where drones, LiDAR scanning, and ground-penetrating radar reveal secrets buried for millennia. Modern explorers, both professional archaeologists and rogue adventurers, have ventured into the labyrinthine corridors beneath ancient cities, deserts, and pyramids, documenting what was previously invisible to the naked eye. In this section, we follow these expeditions, capturing both the thrill of discovery and the shadow of controversy that surrounds them. We begin with high-profile archaeological missions that have unearthed remarkable underground structures, drawing parallels between new findings and historical texts, folklore, or obscure maps. These discoveries often challenge long-held academic consensus, sparking heated debates in scholarly journals and online forums alike. By juxtaposing measured scientific observation with the feverish claims of conspiracy theorists, this section creates a push-and-pull tension, leaving the audience questioning which side of history they truly trust. Next, we delve into the controversial methods used by some modern explorers. Some pursue access illegally or disregard preservation protocols, driven by the lure of fame, hidden treasure, or sensational headlines. Stories emerge of blocked tunnels, collapsed chambers, and disputed artifacts, creating a narrative where the line between heroism and recklessness blurs. The audience is invited to imagine the stakes, what might be lost, or discovered, if these ventures continue unchecked. Interviews and quotes from experts underscore the ethical dilemmas. Historians warn against sensationalizing fragile sites, while technologists argue that modern tools can uncover truths never before imagined. Meanwhile, fringe theorists claim that some governments or secret societies deliberately obscure underground networks, fueling speculation about forbidden knowledge. These contrasting perspectives emphasize the tension between verifiable fact and alluring mystery. Finally, this section builds cinematic suspense by highlighting ongoing searches. Rumors of sealed chambers, hidden artifacts, or subterranean libraries tantalize viewers with the possibility of imminent revelations. Dramatic reenactments or animations could visualize explorers navigating torchlit tunnels, encountering unexplained symbols, or narrowly escaping structural hazards, keeping the audience on edge. The section closes by raising a question that resonates beyond the frame: what if the past has deliberately hidden its most astonishing secrets, waiting for the right eyes, or the right era, to uncover them? The final section delves into the enduring enigma of Teotihuacan's underground network, leaving viewers with a sense of awe, tension, and unresolved questions. Begin by revisiting the evidence uncovered in previous sections: ancient tunnels, hidden chambers, strange artifacts, and symbolic carvings. Contrast scientific interpretations with local myths and speculative theories, highlighting how each lens offers a different understanding yet none provide complete answers. Emphasize the psychological pull of the unknown, why humans are drawn to secrets buried beneath civilization, and how this underground world continues to challenge historians, archaeologists, and explorers alike. Pose haunting questions. what was the purpose of these subterranean chambers? Were they purely ceremonial, storage spaces, or repositories of forbidden knowledge? Could they contain clues about the civilization's collapse, or truths that ancient leaders deliberately concealed? Introduce modern encounters with the site, recent explorations, technological surveys, and cautious scientific probes. Discuss unexpected findings or anomalies that deepen the mystery rather than resolving it, strange air currents, unusual structural alignments, or signs of ritual use that defy conventional interpretation. Highlight the tension between documented evidence and the tantalizing gaps where imagination and myth thrive. Transition to the human element, the explorers, archaeologists, and local communities who have engaged with the underground labyrinth. Share stories of discoveries, near misses, or inexplicable phenomena reported during excavations. Build cinematic suspense by focusing on moments of discovery that simultaneously thrill and unsettle, unearthing a hidden chamber, uncovering symbolic artifacts, or encountering signs of ancient rituals that suggest a knowledge or power lost to time. Conclude with a reflective tone, emphasizing the mystery's timeless allure. Encourage viewers to ponder what remains unseen beneath the surface, knowledge intentionally concealed, sacred spaces meant to be forgotten, or dangers humanity may not be ready to confront. Frame the ending as a bridge between history, myth, and imagination, an invitation to continue questioning, exploring, and wondering. Leave a final cinematic cliffhanger, a shot of the dark, unexplored tunnel stretching into the unknown, echoing the unresolved tension of the entire narrative. Remind viewers that while science uncovers facts, and myth offers meaning, the underground world of Teotihuacan ultimately thrives in the space between certainty and speculation. This balance of fact versus mystery reinforces the immersive, binge-worthy journey, ensuring the story lingers in the audience's mind long after the video ends.